Percubaan 1, 2, 3.
One week, distinguished professors respected academic staff, honored guests, the beloved family members of our distinguished speaker, students, and our audience in the YouTube channel. أهلا وسهلا بكم. We shall now proceed the welcome remarks. It is my honor to invite Professor Emeritus Dr. Tenhuma Dean of KICT to invite this program.
الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته and very good morning. With that, today students, it is my great pleasure to warmly welcome our own leaders, Professor Dr. Roslina, Deputy Research Innovation Development, and Professor Datin وعن الفرصة بين الصورة للومن الميزان أنا يشوف أن جزء معين من الجماعة and then you do taking topic in maybe in general in system you get together of one that really and company that even constantly the professional is not but in much years of intellectual discourse, dedication, while preserving a meaningful contribution to society. All the other kindness, when they're those who believe in you, those who be given knowledge in your and the reason is not known, it is a responsibility. In our journey, we will speak of human noises. Many can demand our attention, but for the now, we define our thinking. The professional lecture is a clear technical description of leadership and involving contribution. Today, we celebrate the lecture by Professor Datin Dr. Roslina represent not only her own living using partners for the liberty of knowledge, they all continue to explain student researcher on the learning community. Knowing younger independence students, what behind this moment lie is resilience and the relentless commitment to excellence. The academic constellation we witness today is symbolic. The robe we wear truly within but the duty to serve with with humanity to use. We learn prayer where stand my confident congregation, the professor that in the professional on this perspective, may her to live a life of inspire future generation. Thank you for all your important support. When we talk about the learning about your students.
We posted about the photo project a few weeks ago in the water and inspiring about animals. Next, it is my very pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Mohammed Islam, maybe to have the research competition about that during the months.
Excelentes atau technologies perkembangan the person that we are celebrating today, the Roslina, colleagues, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, let me just before I read some of these prepared words, let me just say that on behalf of the university, I'm very happy to actually be here. First of all, I'm very short because I have to share the university opportunity a few minutes, and I only know maybe a couple of minutes, so I don't think to be in that meeting because you're here. Um, we're really welcome this event because this is actually me just now. This is really one of the very important events that not what the university is all about. And the fact that it's a professional relationship means that it comes with it years, if not decades of knowledge seeking and experience. Thinking that sometimes it's very difficult to put a price on. Yeah, so I really welcome this event. As I mentioned just now, I think this is the beginning in the last 17.5 years. Volunteer had mentioned that he would like to see more professorial lectures being organized. So congratulations to the KICT for thinking this that will become a regular feature, maybe a monthly feature in Angular. It's a very pleasure to welcome all of you to this distinguished population. The professorial lecture, organized by Regular International with communication technology. Which is fun. To the mass, the ability now technology is really recognize non-clinical speech results. Whether the least it is maybe very to the so we have to be able to see releasing intellectual reports, developing excellence in digital engagement with emerging technologies. The choice in digital space continues to transform how information is generated, accessed, and interpreted. I think the last part is very important. The interpretation of that data uh, can give very different views about the same uh, data or the same event. Well, these technologies bring remarkable benefits, and I think there's no doubt that we have to master these technologies. They also raise important concerns regarding the credibility, reliability, and accountability of AI-generated outputs. These challenges invite us to reflect more deeply on how knowledge is constructed, validated, meaningfully applied in contemporary society. In this regard, once again, we are honored to celebrate the academic achievements of Prof. Datin Dr. Roslina of Man, whose contributions in information retrieval, semantic technologies, and knowledge systems have significantly advanced both scholarly research and broader discourse on the ethical use of technology.
A professional lecture today is not only a recognition of a distinguished academic journey, but also an opportunity for all of us to reflect on the evolving relationship between knowledge, technology, and epistemology in the age of intelligent systems. You have intelligent systems, you need intelligent people. Uh, the people may be intelligent, but they may not know how to handle the systems. I can safely say I probably come in that category. This AI world is something quite challenging for many of us. And I hope KICT and its related centers and units play a part to actually make sure that everybody in the IIUM feels comfortable dealing with ICT, with AI, and so on. I think this is very important because we can have the best systems around, but if people do not know how to benefit from it and how to utilize it, I think that's going to be a very, very sad thing. Yeah, so please, I hope Prof. Tengku and your team at ICT, please assist our ITD and others to ensure that everybody, staff, students, admin, are able to appreciate this wonderful development in ICT and in AI systems. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the organizing committee for their dedication and efforts in making this event possible. Finally, just a very short point. Um, as part of research and innovation activities in IUM, I would just like to inform everybody that events like this and also research and innovation activities are going to be given a more important role in IIUM. For some of you, I think you all may have no problem appreciating this. You are doing research, you are making those innovations. But I think for many staff in IIUM, over the last 10, maybe even 20 or even 30 years, our main function has been teaching. And while teaching is, of course, fundamental, it's part of our duty, research and innovation is also part of our duty. So I've been trying to stress this in all meetings, and I will do again the same thing in the meeting in a few minutes' time, to stress the fact that as an academic, our functions are at least four: teaching, research, publication, and community engagement. Right? So I'm happy to announce that the Senate on Friday has already listened to our presentation, and Prof. Rector has also mentioned it, that 2026 will see a bigger importance given to the research and publication agenda. Innovation is something else. We need to have separate preparation for that, but certainly the research and publication part, this is something that our university for all these years maybe has made it sound as if it's a should be, but it actually it is a must be. Yeah, we must be doing research and publishing as part of our duties as academics. So I make a plea to everybody here, please join us in this journey that we are going to be pushing this year, 2026, as we have done last year. And we are looking forward to many, many more presentations like this, as well as other events that help us to perform our functions as academics. Wallahu alam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the insightful and encouraging opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, as a gesture of our sincere gratitude and appreciation, may I respectfully invite Professor Emeritus WTS Dr. Tengku Muhammad Tengku Sembo, Dean of KICT, to present the token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Muhammad Aslam Muhammad Hanif. May I invite both distinguished guests to the center of this room. Thank you very much. Prof. Aslam, before you leave, we would like to have the photo session with our audience. Alright, so please, yes, you may be seated. Audience at the left and also at the right, perhaps you can collaborate to move and gather in the center of this room.
One, two, one, two, three. Right, last one. One, two, three. All right, everyone, thumbs up. One, two, three. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Prof. Aslam, for attending and opening today's event. Prof. Aslam, we will be taking his leave now, okay, to chair the URC meeting. Okay, and also Dr. Norazin will accompany Professor Aslam to leave this room. Thank you. Okay, before we continue with the next agenda, may I invite Brother Muhammad Rushdi to lead the talk presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma antas salam wa minkas salam wa ilayka ya'udu salam. Hayyina rabbana bis salam. Ya salam sallimna ajma'in waj'alna min ibadikas salihin. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره وهداه وبركاته. Oh Allah, we ask you for the best of this day, the best of its opening, the best of its victory, the best of its light, the best of its blessing and the best of its guidance. Allahumma ya Allah, on this blessed morning, we beseech your rahmah and grateful towards you in favor of all the infinite blessings to us to live in safe and prosperous life. We seek your blessing for a flawless and smooth running of this KICT Professorial lecture by Prof. Datin Dr. Roslina from the beginning until the end. Provide us with guidance in our affairs, grant us wisdom, beneficial knowledge, goodly provisions and acceptable deeds. اللهم إنك تعلم أن هذه القلوب قد اجتمعت على محبتك والتقت على طاعتك وتوحدت على دعوتك وتعاهدت على نصرة شريعتك فوثق اللهم رابطتها وأدم ودها واهدها سبلها واملأها بنورك الذي لا يخبو واشرح صدورها بفيض الإيمان بك وجميل التوكل عليك وأحيها بمعرفتك وأمتها على الشهادة في سبيلك إنك نعم المولى ونعم النصير. O Allah, verify, verily you know that these hearts have gathered in the deepest love for you, met in the obedience to you, united in your call and pledged to support and protect your Sharia. O Allah, strengthen their bonds, increase their love and affections, guide them to the righteous path, and fill these hearts with your light that does not fade. Open these hearts with the abundance of faith in you and the beauty of trust in you, and revive them with your knowledge and unite them to testify in the path of love for you. Verily, you are the Almighty Protector and the utmost best helper. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. O Allah, make this gathering of ours a blessed gathering. Our parting hereafter is a blessed and protected parting. اللهم اشرح لنا صدورنا ويسر لنا أمورنا واحلل عقدة من ألسنتنا يفقهوا أقوالنا. O Allah, lift up our hearts with your knowledge and ease our task for us. Untie our tongue so that people may understand our words. اللهم إنا نسألك فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين وإلهام الملائكة المقربين. O Allah, we ask you to grant us a right understanding, just like the understanding of your prophets, a sharp memory, just like the memory of your messengers, and a sheer inspiration, just like the inspirations of the angels who are close to you. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. O Allah, make us among those who listen to the good words and follow the best of them. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. Ya Latif, Ya Rahman, please bless us with your tawfiq and hidayah. Make us responsible intellectuals. Grant us with a valuable knowledge that will be beneficial to mankind. Make us your righteous servants who follow your commands and avoid all sinful acts. Allahumma ya hayyu ya qayyum ya dhal jalali wal ikram ya munzil al barakat. Bestow peace to this beloved university and our beloved country. Protect us from any threat and disasters, neither man-made nor natural disaster. And to you, Ya Allah, we ask for security and prosperity upon us, our leaders and our country. Bestow patience and wisdom in us in order to face all trials from you. Please accept our deeds and please reward us accordingly. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. يا حي يا قيوم, we seek refuge in your mercy. Reform our entire affairs and do not leave us to manage ourselves without your guidance even for a single moment. Allahumma ya Rahman ya Rahim, we pray for peace, not war, love, not hate, generosity, not greed, unity, not divisions, and we commit ourselves to not betraying our prayers with actions that contradict them. O Allah, we ask you for the goodness of this day and the days that comes after it, and we seek refuge in you from the evil of the day and the days that comes after it. Please forgive us for all of our wrongdoing. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم ونعوذ بك من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل ونسألك أن تجعل كل قضاء تقضيه لنا خيرا. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakumullah khairan, Brother Rushdie, for the dua. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now proceed to the introduction of our distinguished speaker and the word of recognition. It is my pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Akram to introduce our speaker.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته and very good day to everyone. It's a proud honor for me to stand before you today to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Datin, Dr. Roslina Binti Uthman. To the academic world, she is a world-class researcher and visionary leader. To us at IIUM, she is a mentor, a guide, and an inspiration. I would like to begin on a personal note. During my early years at IIUM, while I was still finding my way in the vast world of academia, it was Prof. Roslina who provided the unwavering support I needed to move forward in my research. At that time, she was serving as the Deputy Dean for Postgraduate and Research. Prof. Roslina's academic journey is one of remarkable achievement. She earned her bachelor degree in business administration, finance with minor in economics from Eastern Washington University in 1987. She then came to IIUM to pursue her master's in library and information science, specializing in bibliometric in 1994. In 2001, she completed her PhD in information retrieval at the University of Wales, UK. This came first in May, when it marked our 25th year as a PhD member. Excellence was realized from the beginning during the undergraduate years. You can see that I was a year work on a financial data information project. The recent thesis was replaced in the Brazilian intellectual disability was innovative that it was officially approved to be named Uthman's test. In 1992, during her interview as an assistant lecturer, she presented a prototype of an expert system designed as a pathfinder for libraries. Today, she stands as one of the DLIS pioneers. Prof. Roslina is a specialist in information retrieval, semantic technology, bibliometric, knowledge management, AI literacy, and open science. Her teaching career has taken her beyond Malaysia, including appointment at the University of Bahrain and Jazan University in Saudi Arabia, where she initiated the quality academic assessment for the women section. Currently, she serves as a Deputy Dean Postgraduate Research and Innovation at KICT, Head of the Semantic Body of Knowledge and Technology Research Unit, IIUM, Coordinator for Erasmus Plus, the British Grants, and Horizon Europe. She is also a visiting professor at Management Science University and external assessor at University Malaya. Her past leadership roles include Director of the Alumni and Career Service Division, Head of Department twice, Deputy Dean for Postgraduate and Research twice, President of PCAMP, and Vice President twice. She is also the Secretary for Pertubuhan Professor G70. She has served as an adjunct professor at Swinburne University of Technology Sarawak campus and as a visiting professor at Hanoi University of Culture, Vietnam. She has been invited as an expert and speaker at numerous academic and research events in Japan, Maldives, Iran, Jordan, Egypt, Australia, and Indonesia. Beyond academia, she is deeply involved in spiritual leadership, having a co-founder the Yusra Tafsir Al-Azhar since 2006, now session number 386, and Tazkira since 2011, now session 256. Prof. Roslina's commitment to her student is significant. She supervised 57 PhD and master students. I recall with great appreciation that my very first experience as an internal examiner was one of her PhD candidate, Dr. Ohaida. I'm not sure if she's around, the wife of our esteemed Professor Abdulaziz Maruf. In the realm of research, she has secured numerous high-level grants, including Technofund, FRGS, ERGS, PRGS, and IIIT grants. I have had the privilege of joining some of these projects as a co-researcher and witnessing her leadership firsthand. Under her guidance, our self-help maqam-based search engine not only succeeded but also secured an intellectual property and in the process of commercialization. And our We Semantic search engine has secured 2 trademarks. She was sponsored under an EU grant to present her proposal on semantic-based search engine and attended research meeting and networking session in many countries. She has examined 39 PhD theses, local and international, and delivered 33 talks and workshops on PhD supervision and benchmarking of PhD by research programs. She has conducted 50 local and international workshops and seminars related to academic matters and research method, and has reviewed over 120 journal manuscripts. Recently, she submitted a total of 36 concept notes from IIUM to Erasmus Plus Info Session 2025. Prof. Roslina's work is deeply rooted in Islamization and Tawhidic epistemology. As the current Islamization coordinator at KICT, I recently reviewed our faculty output in ICT and Islam. What I discovered was remarkable. Out of 48 theses produced in this niche area, 13 of them, nearly 30%, were supervised by Prof. Roslina. Based on my observation, this is likely the highest level of contribution to this field, not only in IIUM, but in the whole of Malaysia. Her innovation have gained national and international recognition. She received gold, silver, and bronze medals for her research work at various exhibitions. She founded the We Semantic search engine. She won the InnoPac Special Award and the MTE Gold Medal. Was also broadcast on RTM TV1 and featured in Asia Research News. She received award for the Minhaj al-Abidin maqam-based triggers and Malik bin Nabi's novelty ruler. She was the first at IIUM to receive the highly commended paper award 2005 from Emerald Publishing Group for her article An Applied Ethnographic Method for Evaluating Retrieval Features in the Electronic Library 2004. Her book, Trends in Information Retrieval System, has been used as a textbook and reference in several universities. Her work on image retrieval was cited by a researcher in Austria as the first of its kind and officially named M3. She has received the Best Paper Award and presented her research in 22 countries, including our joint participation in the International Conference on Islamic Application and Technology Iman 2017 in Semarang, Indonesia, and before that in 2014 in Amman, Jordan, together with Professor Dr. Fawzan. Her books are used as a reference. Her books are used as references in the USA, Canada, Taiwan, and the Dominican Republic. Prof. Roslina continues to push the boundaries of knowledge. She has authored 82 book chapters, edited 6 book chapters, and edited 6 translated books. Her latest books in 2025 include scientific research and discoveries based on the understanding of the Quran and the universe, and another book, Islamic Worldview, IT, and Society, which I am proud to have a co-authored and edited alongside her. She is currently completing a book on information retrieval and AI literacy. Current research focus on ethics and social trust in AI adoption, propagation of truth, integration of knowledge management and AI, maqasid-based research methodology in information science, and a Tawhidic framework for AI. Prof. Roslina is more than a professor. She is a visionary. She leads with her heart and mind, guided by an unwavering commitment to Tawhidic epistemology. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming a true leader, a brilliant researcher, and a wonderful colleague, Professor Datin, Dr. Roslina Binti Uthman, to deliver her talk.
Thank you, Prof. Akram, for the gracious and touching introduction. Let us now direct our attention to the screen for a special video montage featuring the profile and academic journey of our distinguished speaker, Professor Datin Dr. Roslina Osman. successful video montage. The journey we have just witnessed shows remarkable achievements and a life of dedication that inspires us, especially the younger generation, to strive for excellence and contribute to others. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at the much awaited moment and the highlight of today's event. It is now my greatest honor to invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Datin Dr. Roslina Osman, to deliver her professorial lecture entitled The Credibility Gaps, Tawhidic Epistemology as a Remedy for AI's Non-Committal Search Results. Prof. Datin, the floor is yours. Tafadhal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Allazina amanu wa 'amilus solihat tatawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. My dear guests, professors and my colleagues, and also researchers from IUM, and of course our VIPs, external to IUM. So I would like to acknowledge our guest, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Fauzan Nurdin, Prof. Emeritus Dr. Technologies Dr. Tuku Muhammad Teguh Sebo, Prof. Dr. Yumi Zohanis, Hasyun Hashim, Prof. Ida Madiha, Dr. Mahdi Hassan, from the Madani Research Center, Muhammad Ahmad Reza from Arena One Consultancy, Mr. Ahmad Fahmi Shamsuddin from Global Peace Mission, Dr. Rusfa Hashim from Yayasan Karyawan, Muhammad Effendi Zulkifli from Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan as the Penasihat Digitalisasi. Okay, distinguished professors, respected academic staff, honored guests, beloved family members of mine, the students and our YouTube audience, so ahlan wa sahlan, jazakumullah for coming. So alhamdulillah, today I'm presenting the professorial talk or lectures entitled The Credibility Gap, Tawhidic Epistemology as Remedy for AI's Non-Committal Search Results. Yes, the title might seem very attractive to some and also confusing to some. That was the intention. Anyway, various research projects and teaching experiences since 2001 have identified the gap and what we call the credibility gap. It's not a new term, it has been there since 1970s. The outcomes of workshops and classes improve the understanding and expectations surrounding the non-committal search results. Because sometimes, as human, we always say, I pass. When somebody asks us for an opinion, we say, I pass. So that was the first time I heard about this was in 1994. So I was wondering, what does it mean? So it means that I'm neutral. Okay, so I wonder, what does that neutral means? Okay, does it mean that we do not want to decide for you? So the submissions of research proposals through consortiums outline the parameters of a forward-looking objective. So now we are getting AI everywhere, AI tools, but we need to see what's in the future for us and have ourselves be prepared, especially the young generation, as early as 7 years old, 9 years old, or 12 years old, right? Okay, so the contemporary AI is just beginning to explore, while we already have seen this many as behavior of the human being. So AI is here actually in a way imitating our behavior and our attitude. So before we move to the next slide, let me define the word credibility and credibility gap. So Cambridge Dictionary defines credibility as the fact, okay, the fact that someone or something can be believed or trusted. Okay, so for example, when someone brought the news, we say, how shall I believe you? To what extent I should believe you? What made you think that I would believe you? Okay, so it is something that we should also apply to AI tools. And Merriam-Webster provides an example. Another problem is the spread of fake news and the credibility of sources. So that's the example given by Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Collins Dictionary defines credibility gap as disparity between claims or statement. This is what you claim, but if you look around, we hear with our eyes there is something else. So a disparity between claims or statements made and the evident facts of the situation or circumstances to which they relate. Mayfair, another dictionary, provides an example. This is the credibility gap. It is one thing to generate an answer and another to ensure that answer is consistent. So this is our job, and I must say that it has become a cognitive overload for us. Even AI promises to help us and assist us. It has to be consistent, explainable, and aligned with policy. Do we have AI policy at our universities, in our faculty? It is one thing to write code from a prompt, another to integrate that code into regulated customer critical systems. So in the case of Mayfair, they refer to the business model and the customer system. Islamically, Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 6, O you who have believed, if there comes to you a disobedient one with information, investigate, lest you harm a people out of ignorance and become over what you have done regretful. So that's the opening of the professorial lecture today. Next slide. Okay. So in the okay, a credibility gap. Okay, looking at the false equivalence trap. Okay, so when it comes to the credibility gap in digital information, it is a very critical crisis that intersects between information science, AI, and Islamic values. So I come from the information science department. Surah Al-Isra verse 36, and do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Indeed, the hearing, the sight, and the heart about all those one will be questioned. Okay, so we have here the false equivalence trap. Okay, so if you look at the old nursery rhymes, Bangau or Bangau, one is blaming the other, and then finally it reached the snake, and the snake said that's his nature, its nature, right? So therefore we are being given a false claims that this is the cause of one effect of being slender, etc., and so on, or toothing. Okay, so this is what we are having in the AI now, the false equivalence trap. When AI said that I'm neutral, but what is that definition of neutral? Okay, so meaning that they're not going to take sides, fine, but that's not objectivity. Okay, it is more still of a bias. Let the users decide. So first, the input query. So a user came in, okay, comes in and put in a string of prompts, okay, into the AI search engine or AI search tool. And because it is for the systematic literature review, so the AI, according to that level of intelligence for producing a systematic literature review, will do all the authors with all the inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, and the period affected, and they say that author X says this, or okay, this author says X, other author says Y, and then we ask our student to tabulate it and to report it narratively. Okay, again, did not pass any criticism, judgment, or any analytical thinking. Okay, as the output. So it's categorize, okay, which actually can be easily done by the current or the existing databases, and also in just a simple Excel sheet. So, meaning that AI is not that intelligent as we expected, because if it's just only to categorize who says X, who says Y, okay? So that's why, okay, at our faculty, I have encouraged, even for my students, it's compulsory. Whenever they do systematic literature review, they have to do another review on top of that, okay, such as the bibliometrics, because that would trigger, okay, their mind into being critical and not following the influence of AI tools to say that we have to stay neutral. Okay, neutral is not like we have a Likert scale of 5, for example, in the middle is neutral. Okay, it's not that kind of neutrality. Next, the result. Okay, we have the illusion of balance when the system says that I am being objective. Okay, I'm trained to be objective, but actually there's no balance in such objectivity, because neutrality is not objectivity. It's never equals to. So it is our job as the human being, having the human intellect, following the prophetic intelligence, that we should aware of that illusion, and then we start to distinguish between what is a quality paper and also what is not. And what is not, because it has been published in Scopus, we have to say something. We're not going to argue on the credibility of the papers, because it has gone through reviewers and also the journal editors. But we're going to put our opinion about it. And what else if it is the non-audited, unaudited search, unaudited AI search tools? Because nobody said about it, but because we got fantastic answers, so we are really excited to put that in our paper, and also for the students to put it in the thesis. So it became a conspiracy. So both perspectives, unfortunately, for AI, presented with equal validity. Okay, so that's why the field of medicine, okay, for example, like their database, such as Confidence, okay, and then they also have a clinical key. They're very strict, and they really follow, okay, in a way the Tawhidi epistemology. They maintain the quality, and they say something about the medical reports. Number 4, the impact. Okay, I must say that from my experience in my class with my students, and also those participants in my workshops, everyone said that actually we have cognitive overload. In fact, cognitive overloaded when we use AI, because we always have to check every citation. Okay, every citation. So whereas in Scopus, for example, we don't have to do that. Okay. So in fact, when they use the Scopus AI tools, okay, they don't have to check. They just get the search keywords, the queries, and the structure, and then they edit a bit, and then they search in the Scopus normal search, and then they found the results better, well ranked, etc., and so on. So what is it, to compare to the unaudited AI tools? Next. Okay, so now this comes to the a bit philosophical, but not too far away in terms of generations. Okay, like this from Malik bin Nabi. Okay, develop power disconnected from contextual purpose. We live in this world with a purpose. Okay, Allah has created us with a purpose, for a purpose, and we live this world with the purpose that we have served in this world. So for Malik bin Nabi, he has an equation, okay, from the human side, the man, time, and the soul. So we need soil. We need 3 of them, 3 of these components. Unfortunately, for the AI, we only have 2, man, time, meaning that this developer and the processing power. Yes, AI can give an answers or do PowerPoint slides, etc. in just a few minutes. Okay, the answer is so fantastic. The assignment is due at 12 midnight, and now what, 11:30 or 11:45, gets it done 1 minute before midnight and put it up in iTalim, for example. So it's very powerful in terms of processing power. But the soil is missing, so meaning that the moral grounding and the contextual purpose is missing. AI tools never put a stance on the social values and also the moral values. Because for them, it sounds more like religion. It sounds more like something controlling. It's like a boundary that, suffocate AI tools. And therefore, because of we don't have the soil in the AI, so we call it epistemic noise. Just like our dean mentioned earlier, we have to differentiate between the right signal and also the noise. So it is meaningless. Okay, I have gone through at least 100 queries input into ChatGPT, into Gemini AI, and then into Litmap, and then into Notebook, okay, and also Jenny AI, and they are all meaningless and repetitive. Okay, repetitive. So we did an attempt, and we found that, okay, the whole 5 pages came from only one source, whereas I uploaded 100 articles. Okay, it's only from one source, so the AI tools cannot analyze the other 99 sources. Okay, so and hallucinate and foster skepticism. Okay, so, but however, we learn new terms from AI, and we have to dig the history of the term, the terminologies. Then we found that actually the AI is skeptical about many things. So we are blinded by AI hallucinations, and we do not know that is AI hallucinations only when we talk to our colleagues or professors. Okay, because the outputs are actually subjective. Okay, it is subjective to the developer and the designer of the AI tools. We do not know what culture is that. Okay, it sounds so strange to the global culture. I'm referring global culture to our academic world. Next. Okay, so now I'm going to compare, actually to promote as well, okay, the philosophy and the concepts built, and also the paradigm built in our wise mentee. So the standard AI paradigm, they don't have a stance. They're always non-committal. Non-committal here means that they do not want to commit any perceptions leading related to social and values. Okay, they will just go with whatever they try to tell us that I am being neutral. But for wise mentee, it's committal. And the word committal is introduced to us by almarhum Professor Datuk Dr. Siddiq Fadil. So we should wisely filter the epistemic noise. Okay? Nature of truth, yes. For the standard AI program, it is always fragmented. Okay, bit and pieces. Okay? And somehow, to confuse us or to mislead us, they put it as bullets and also point form. So therefore, we just have to elaborate ourselves based on our standing. Because things that are in PowerPoint slides, when it is presented in bullets, it's open to many interpretations as compared to paragraph, text, and descriptions. Okay, it will have a clearer picture, even though visually it might be boring. Okay. So for the wise-minded paradigm, we have collective, and it is a unified reality rooted in maslahah public benefit. So it is for the public. So every thesis must have the contribution to the society other than the theoretical contribution. Sometimes we have the heading as practical contribution. What is it to the society? The society, the public has already given their monetary contributions, their support to universities and colleges. So how does that thesis contribute or return anything special to them? Okay, so therefore we work on that. So for example, we have our Islamic family law, okay, as one of our ontology, okay, for our wise mentee, where we would like, okay, the So whatever is happening in all the ceramah, is it the same as what the Sidi Fadil. And we have the scientific reality because this is what available in Scopus and other databases. It has to be peer reviewed, and also we need to add from IUM the maslahah, the public benefit. And as I said earlier, every moral truth must exist in the world's reality. We cannot isolate, okay, our faith into something what we call the closed world, whereas actually our job, our duty is to go into the world's reality. This is where the Rahmat Lil Alamin gets into our academic world. By integrating Tawhidi epistemology, such systems are forced to be not just efficient but wise. Okay, previously we say, okay, everyone must be efficient, everyone must be effective. Every system must be efficient, every system must be effective. But now, because we have AI, it has to be wise as well. And that's the fundamental question. What benefit does this bring to humanity? Next. Okay, for the wise-semantic systemic funnel, okay, why I'm talking about the wise-semantic quite a number of times, okay, is that in my experience, whenever we try to propose or give suggestions, okay, to a certain problem in the Western world, okay, in US, Europe, and UK, what happens is that they always say, show us an example, show us a sample. It's not just talking, okay? So that's why since then, every time when I say something, I always have a backup, okay, to support me. Okay, it can be in the form of documentations, can also be a prototype. Okay, so that's why when I had that interview, okay, I brought my prototype with me, and that was in 1994, 1992 when I applied as an assistant lecturer at the Department of Library and Information Science. So we are trained that way, okay, because when we talk and talk, but there's nothing as evidence, so therefore we brought our evidence. So that's why to everything that I said, I put up a claim and I show you the sample. So for the wise-semantic, okay, we have ontology, okay, that we would like to reduce the epistemic noise and the standard AI data. So we appreciate the data that AI has collected, and therefore we want to make use of that. It's not everything that is useless or harmful, so let us clean it. Okay, let us filter it. So that's why we have layer 1, the ontological clustering. Okay, this ontology is not simple. We cannot do it in 1 month. Okay, it can take like 3 at least, okay, 3 months at least, and also can be 6 months or 1 year. And it's not something that is a very simple use, okay, or simple design, because we really need to test it, you know, in the domain, and sometimes it went to like 2 or 3 years. Okay, so to avoid that many years, okay, we have also sought, okay, or consulted, okay, experts in the field, and they are not ordinary people. They are people who are really onto it. Layer 2, Makam-based triggers. So this is the Makam-based search engine. Where does this word Makam come from? Okay, it was a series, okay, drama series from TV Al Hijrah, okay, where they talk about a scholar, okay, who has to go to war to help the sultan of the state, and then he really, wrote, okay, manuscript, and he puts it in the river, kept it like a time capsule, okay, because he knows that he's going to die in that battlefield. Layer 3, the novelty ruler. This comes from Malik bin Nabi, okay, and I really admired and inspired by his work, okay, because whatever he said, even though sounds like human sciences or social sciences, but actually it really inspired people from the technology and the scientific world. So it's filtering repetitive imitation. So AI has been returning the same answers over and over again. Okay, so meaning that there's nothing new, and then it's very tiring because we have forgotten what we have checked just now, and then we saw it happen again, and then we check again. Okay, because what is given to us are just passages. And of course, the Talmudic is the feeder, okay, for whatever level from beginning, from the foundation to the uppermost. So it will give clarity and wise synthesis. Next. Okay, so this is the ontology. We have Futuh al-Ghaib. This is for the Tasawwuf. And we are going to go for the Risalah an-Nur, okay, after this Futuh al-Ghaib. And then we have the ontology, Doa and Zikir al-Ma'thur. This is from Imam Nawawi, okay? And the cases were built from 4 schools in Gombak. And it's very sad because we saw cases like bunuh diri, suicide. It's not just a mere ponteng sekolah, but it's more serious. It's like, of course, we're not going to talk about all those forbidden ones, but something depressing like bunuh diri or suicide. And then we have the Islamic finance and banking. Okay, this is from ISRA, INSEF, and also IMM, IIBF. Okay, and we found that, okay, for Malaysia, our Islamic banking is a product. Okay, however, in South Asia, okay, Islamic banking is both a product and a social welfare, meaning that we should run away from riba as far as possible, okay, from the conventional system. Next. So this is the Makam-based search system where we receive the IP. So we have 7 levels. So we did the triggers, okay, that is applicable to issues, even the climate issues. And it is based on Minhajul Abidin Imam Al-Ghazali. So what we have is that level 1, level 2. So it can also be used for learning, self-learning. Okay, and it can be in private, okay, but of course we are not imitating some religion where you go to a box and then, in that box you confess, and then the person on the other side say, you are forgiven, my son or my daughter. It was not intended that way, okay, but the thing is that our intention is that when we say private, it means that you can explore the system and you are promised to be secured. So the first initial state, okay, this is finite state machine, and it is the knowledge of the affirmation of oneness. So this is where the tidy epistemology start, and it ended up with thankfulness, syukur. Okay. So here let me read to you the case that we have with one of our partners, okay, from Turkey. We were invited to collaborate on the agent conversation for building project. So we say building, B-E-A-L-D-I-N, but if you look at it closely, it means B-Aldin. Okay, so of course, we kind of agree, okay, with that term, with the name of the project, and that was in 2012. okay, going for the EU grant. However, okay, we have issues because we do not want it to be rubbing the bottle of genie and the genie came out and then, fulfilling our wish, okay? It's just a concept, nothing to do with faith or shirk or anything like that. However, okay, we hold fast to this particular verse, Surah An-Naml, verse 36 to 40. Sulaiman said, O assembly of jinn, which of you will bring me a throne before they come to me in submission? A powerful one from among the jinn said, I will bring it to you before you rise from your place. And indeed, I am for this task strong and trustworthy. So the jinn said that he is strong and he is trustworthy. Said one who had knowledge from the scripture, I will bring it to you before your glance returns to you. So this is the one that we decided to go for, the person who had knowledge from the scripture. So we drew up an agreement and saying that we would like to go for just the knowledge part of it, and we would like to only focus on the agent conversation, imitating a reference librarian, a skillful one, a knowledgeable one, not an ordinary reference librarian. So we did submit, however, there were many changes to be done, so we decided that we postpone it. And today, you have the AI tool, such as ChatGPT, relying on agent conversation as well. So indeed, we have no regrets, because Tawheed is important to our team. Okay, next is the novelty rules. This is where the Malik bin Abi came in, in terms of knowledge. So Malik bin Abi's thoughts on civilization, we need to conceptualize the framework and prototype. And again, as I said earlier, when there was a financial crisis globally, we were told that give us a sample from your scholar. Okay, so this is our sample. So we use the TRIS method because that's the one that really matched. This TRIS method is from Russia, and it was 1988, but it was really a very strong model. So based on that model, we found that Abbas Mirakhor is the one that is leading all the clusters on the Islamic finance and banking in Malaysia and also in the world. Okay? And then we have publications, even from IUM, we have big circles like that. Okay? And of course, the network are citations, the one in red are the publications. So we should be proud with our Islamic finance and banking in addition to the Islamic family law. Layer 1, next. Layer 1, the ontological clustering, the one that I've shown briefly earlier. So we have for the wisematic, we have the reliable fact, and we have the non-committal or conspiracy. Okay, so in our place, we go for non-committal. Okay, so that to avoid confusion, so that people know that no one committed, so therefore we are left to put it aside or open it up for some other analytical thinking and process. So the system weight and rank search result. Ranking search result is very important. If you want to be a good searcher, you do a good Boolean search and then in Scopus, and after that rank the results by vector or by relevance, and then you will see that you will feel confident not to look at after the item after 100 items. Makan-based triggers, this is where we need to go for the balance. Imam Al-Ghazali is known in this world and also the Western world, all parts of the world, so therefore it is something that we do not say something that is not familiar to the West. Okay? So here we depart from balance. Okay? That means we go from the meaningless data into something that we put a value. Okay? I'm not afraid to say that religious value or Islamic values. So restore clarity. Okay? For example, even in the Islamic family law, we have the akad. It's very clear stating, okay, who is going to marry who. Okay, who is going to marry who. Okay, so therefore the Tawhidi epistemology is perfect. okay, is provide in terms of knowledge and also in practical and its application. So I've given you simple one, something that we might have experienced, okay, and we experience for some, okay, so it's not something that is very difficult to understand, okay, and confused, especially when it comes to AI. For example, like for us it is mahar, but for AI it is a dowry, okay, so I told AI, please don't use dowry, use mahar when it comes to the Islamic marriage. So when an information creates an imbalance, triggers intervene. So this is where the Minhajul Abidin will come and remind the user, saying that, these are the stages, the 7 stages or 7 phases. Novelty ruler on the left-hand side is the AI, and it is repetitive. Okay, in several searches, and also the searches conducted by my students, we didn't find something new. So my students actually have given up and said that we will go back to another database, to the usual one subscribed by the library. But with our novelty ruler, okay, we make sure that newness, okay, originality is there. And it will require less human verification because the initial steps have been endorsed. Next. From ambiguous interpreter to curator. So if you ask me, is AI totally not good or harmful? I would say no. Okay, we have to accept because that's the latest technology, that is today's technology. So it just become curator to assist us. That means help us clean the data, ask them to find the source, and then we get the source. And of course, we want to go for the confidence level and the level of our own commitment. So you will see the video of Wasmantik later. And we are going for the high expert consensus. We have many professors. They are knowledgeable, okay? And so we need to consult them and really make them, let them reach the public and the society. Next, okay, empowering intellectual synthesis. So when we have the credibility gap, we need to close it. Okay? We need to make sure that the search engine, the AI tools, etc., will do their role as a precise information filter. It cannot be like, we have browsed 100 search results from AI, and in the middle or at the end, only one is relevant, only one is useful. So we have wasted our time. Okay? So I began my lecture just now with Suratul As. Okay, so with the intention is good, even though we found only one relevant results among 100 search results given by AI. We must remember that we did do something, okay? And of course, we need to take it up other than patience, but we also have to go by reminding everyone, even ourselves, in patience and also in the truth. So this is the conclusion. Okay, so overall picture, bridging the AI credibility gap from neutrality to wisdom. Okay, so first, the user is confused. They do not know what exactly they want. Okay, they just gather whatever professors say in their lecture in the class, and then they just come and search, okay, at the workstation or on their laptop. So now, here comes the AI saying that, okay, I'm being neutral, and they really fall into the trap of false equivalence trap because they are still young, still new to the subject matter, so they can't differentiate what is the valid and the non-valid results. And AI has mask, okay, wearing a mask of neutrality. I am being neutral here, okay? So it's you to decide, okay? The responsibility is on you, okay? So we are telling our students, yes, AI is helping, but at the end of the day, if anything wrong, you are being punished, okay? You have to be fined, you have to receive the punishment or any other measures, yeah, for that kind of discipline. So from there, okay, actually, when with the Minhajul Abidin, we can reach, okay, the vision and mission of our university. I put it up as IUM, but of course it goes with other academic world as well. So we have the wisdom-based filtering, Wisemantic, We have the newness, novelty ruler, and the guide from the moral context Maslahah from Minhajul Abilin or our system Makam-based search system. So, in comparison, okay, we do not want to have our students, our users to have the cognitive load, okay, issues and also decision fatigue. I must say that when I and the team, okay, we are contributing to UTM on the TRGS UTM, we had to use AI because that's the approved ways, okay, to work collectively, and we do have decision fatigue. Yeah, we do have. So really, we went several rounds. Finally, I said I'll do it manually because I think I'm more skillful than that AI. So anyway, we have the standard AI search, non-committal, stance, and for us, we have committed to truth and wisdom. Of course, it may sound very rigid, very controlling, and people say that that's what Islam is, controlling and rigid, but actually it is not. Okay, it is not. You can still have access to the non-committal and say something about it. Give a stance. Okay, give a stance. Deciphering fragmented noise for the user role, and our role is receiving filtered and reliable truth. Subjective shared reality, they are subjective to their own culture, and because we are still left behind in terms of technology, we are not part of that subjectivity. So we did the collective and unified knowledge. So with that, thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Prof. Datin Roslina. I can see that there are several concepts, systemization concepts, also contents, and also the ICT components in this lecture. Thanks very much for the enlightening and also enriching lecture. We shall now open the floor for the question and answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, kindly switch on the microphone on the table or proceed to the standing microphone. Please introduce yourself briefly before asking your question. For our online audience in YouTube, please type your questions in the chat box and I will read them on your behalf. Please.
Hi, sorry, Anwar here. So I just have one question. So, regarding the WASMT, so how do you see the role of WASMT goes beyond Maha or Islamic finance in the Islamic world? Uh, do you have plan to include cultural based in your to consider to put in your hierarchy beside the authority of scholars? Thank you.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Anwar. Okay, yes, for the first part of the question, yes, it is beyond the Islamic finance and banking because it also included the tafsir, okay, and also the, of course, just now I mentioned the dua and zikir al-ma'thur, okay, because we have cases, as I mentioned earlier, among the schools, okay, the 4 schools, as submitted by the councillors, by the schools in Gombak, okay, and also based on announcements of the issues, especially related to the moral and educating, nurturing our younger generations, okay, by the ministers of the ministry. So when it comes to that part, okay, going beyond, okay, of course for the technological features, is as presented, but to the society, the doa and zikir is very important, okay, especially the short doa, because the younger children, they prefer the shorter version, okay, so we give them something generic, and it's only case by case we will give the longer one via the system, okay, via the system. So I do not wish to reveal further on those cases, okay, because we consider that has been improving, okay, recently. So that is for the doa and zikir, and we also have the Al-Quran and the Hadith, okay, so the Quranic, it has a spiral, okay, so meaning that it's from the Quranic text and then jump into the translations. So we have the translations, okay, in multiple languages, including Chinese, yeah, the Chinese script, yeah, and that is part of the effort, okay, to understand the Quran from a different culture in a way, okay, because some words, for example, like in Arabic, definitely one word, but the translation of that, interpretation of that can be one sentence, okay. So the one that I can remember offhand, okay, is one word from the Quran, and then we have two sentences in the Chinese script, in the Chinese language, to explain, even just to explain, you know, not really to explain, to translate that particular word, okay. And then in that ontology for the Quran and Hadith, okay, we also introduce terms, okay. Of course, as you said, the Islamic finance and banking and the economics, they do have their own terminology specifically stated in the Quran, okay, like zakat and so on, okay, and also in the Islamic family law or the Sharia. But the things that when it comes to technology, okay, people often go to the extreme one, like the Big Bang Theory and so on, and the division or the wall between the water, okay, the two types of water, fresh water and the sea water. But in the middle, okay, this is the job of the IT people, okay, like us, okay, to go into the Quranic text and find the relevant words, okay, that describe the AI and etc. Because right now, like Malik bin Nabi, okay, as I mentioned earlier, it talks about innovation. So if I were to take the sample from the Islamic finance and banking, my apology, I have to be frank here. I'm taking a stance, okay, saying that sometimes, okay, when we align the ontology, the academic world ontology did not match the ontology from the industry. So therefore, the likelihood of having that, okay, on the shelf in the form of publication is there, but going outside than that, there's no chance. It's only a few percent of that. And then, okay, from the industry, they really lack the academic side and academic understanding. So this is where the Wasmatic did. It's just beyond, it is beyond the proper ontology that appear in the academic world, but it goes with the whole reality of the finance and banking, including the issues, okay? So that's that part there, okay? Other than that, for the Wisematic itself, okay, we are going for AI, okay, and the one that we can show you today is just the introductory part of it, because currently we are going to have a server, okay, so that it can run, okay, and to make sure security-wise is there. Last time it was there at my RAM, okay, using our two servers, and we have tested with 200 users, okay, using Maxis, yeah. So now we are going to the renewal. We had to restructure it because of the, the AI technology coming in. So we had to 100% overhaul and structure it. So what's next for Wisematic is that it's going to move, okay, from the non-committed search result into something that people can give a stance. So acting as the reference librarian back to the actual role during the civilization time, the peak of the civilization. Because right now we need to upgrade, okay, our experts and also information scientists to be at that level. So imagine, previous time, in fact in 70s and 80s we have librarians and information scientists, they produce annotations, annotations, and they're very valuable. I myself joined the librarians at the National Library of Malaysia, producing bibliography, annotated one for the Orang Asli in Malaysia. So this is what we want. So this is what Wasmantic is going beyond it. And of course, in many ways, it tries to support the Vision 2077 as promoted by almarhum Tan Sri Prof. Taman. I hope I answer your question.
Alright, thank you very much, Mr. Anwar and also Prof for the clear explanation. Any other question?
Behind
Please.
you.
Yes, Prof.
Prof, thank you very much for your presentation. Actually, I just want some clarification with regard to Islamic controversy that you have mentioned vis-a-vis the AI. So, if I can get from your suggestion that we should hold on to Islamic mythology, i.e. the Quran, Sunnah, and the intellect and so on, and use AI only as a reference. Am I right?
Not in that sense, actually, because we cannot take AI as 100 reference, because as I mentioned earlier, what is the intelligence in the AI that we accept it as a reference, okay? Because the 100% reference should come from the Quran and the Sunnah, and the Sunnah has the prophetic intelligence, okay? And at the same time, how many of us has read thoroughly the seerah of the Prophet, okay? So that, to me, that is valid, okay? That means they qualified to be 100% reference. For the AI, okay, it's only a tool. If it wants to be as the point of reference, then first thing it must do is that it must imitate at least the role of a reference librarian, a competent and also a talented and skillful one. Okay, so that's my point. Okay, because by nature, actually by qualification, a reference librarian or reference information scientist is actually well trained. Okay, are well trained to be a reference point, and they did lots of work. But we lost that tradition. Okay, after decades, we lost that tradition because it is very tedious. So now that we have AI, we can have AI assisting the reference librarian. So that means, for example, so that means they need to find, okay, and deliver it very, speedy, considering the speed, okay, and also considering, fetching the documents. But it is the reference librarians who has to play an important role here, beyond plagiarism, beyond outsourcing the job, and so on. Okay, because the librarian in general has taken an oath. That means once you profess in that profession, okay, in that role, you have to speak the truth. Okay, and of course, someone from library can argue with me. A librarian should just be like an AI, neutral. But actually, no such things. Okay, we still need to give our thought, not at the reference desk, but in our annotated bibliography. So the next step, that is minimal, for the AI. So the next step should be the AI must imitate the intelligence. So this is where the digital twin comes in. But we need to be careful. Whose digital twin? Okay, the digital twin of who? Okay, so in our case, our project with Arena 1, the digital twin is our honorable rector. Okay, because we need to start from the foundation, which is the Tawhidi epistemology, and he is the person, knowledgeable and have the intellect on that matter. So I hope I answer your question. Okay, right now AI is not intelligent. Okay, so I apologize to somebody who disagree with me, but that's my stance. Okay, thank you for your question.
Thank you very much, Prof. Juljastri.
Any other questions from the floor? Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Dr. Roslina. My name is Fariza. I'm a master's student from KICT. I was looking through Google about Weismantic, and I thought it was very interesting research, and especially the search engine. My question is going to be very technical, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
I was curious about how do you rank results from the Weismantic, because either the current meta right now is either using vector-based or maybe keyword-based. But if I got it correctly, Weismantic is ontological clusters. How does Weismantic actually know which one to rank first, second, third when the user search for it? Perhaps maybe like the parameters. Prof mentioned that it's based on the scholars' verified research. But was that parameterized into the search engine, or I'm curious to know more about the details. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Yes, actually, Weismantic works on the ontology. The ontology came from the academia and also the industry. And in some cases, it came from the NGOs, yeah, like the Global Peace Malaysia on the humanitarian side, okay? Because it defines the happiness level, yeah, the happiness level. So the United Nations and the world define happiness in their own way, and we define happiness by the number of humanitarian activities as well. Because, as I said earlier, we hear what we see, okay? So this is where we go for the credibility and identify the credibility gap. So it's not just mere indicators or data coming from oneself or subjective based on the culture. So we include the humanitarian activities translated that into ontology. So that is the criteria, okay, and it is visualized, okay, at the front end for the users to select if they have no idea. Remember, we need to reduce the cognitive load, okay, of the user so they can identify. At the same time, because it works on the vector model, okay, so the vector has been trained, yeah, the model itself, the purpose is to get something similar, okay. Of course, at first it was meant for images, right? Especially for the multimedia, creative multimedia, for example, at MNU, sometimes they don't need the whole part, they just need one part of the photo to create a creative multimedia or campaign, and marketing strategy, as a marketing strategy. So for that also, okay, we use the vector model, okay, the vector space, like a neighboring, okay, so where they can get one neighbor and then they also get all the neighbors that share the same vision and mission. Okay, so imagine, because in information retrieval, we always connect ourselves with the real world. For example, the vector, we talk about our neighbors. For the recall and precision, as we mentioned just now, we talk about how we fish. And so happen that all the information retrieval people, we have quite a number of similar or common hobbies. One of them is fishing, cycling. Okay, so we have that. So it's much easier to understand when we bring what is in reality into our model. So that is vector. Another one is the probability. Okay, so we compare with the issues. Okay, so that means if, let's say, the current issues is A, okay, then the A will be ranked first, provided that they are looking into probability. So there's a specific field in the search engine that you would like that to appear first, so that they can handle materials against a particular issues. Okay, so this is what this is how we rank the item. It's not just a bag of words. For example, you said queries, it's not just put query and then whatever has the most query, and so it has the most occurrence of the query, that will be ranked first. It's not necessarily so, because sometimes the vector model is trained to have clusters. So for example, one undergraduate student who does not understand the whole picture of their discipline yet, so they put something, general query, so Weismantic will give all possible group of ideas connected to that query, and then from there the user or the student will start exploring. Okay, so this is where we say that the AI tools must behave similar way, but intelligently, in the sense that when there's a credibility gap, that's the one that we should go for in terms of research and publications, yeah, and reporting. I hope I answer your question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Fariza, for the question. Any other question from the floor? Yes,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Actually, Prof, your lecture strengthened my understanding on the power and limitation of AI. We are looking for some proof. So you are given your work proving that of this gap, the cognitive load and decision fatigue. Okay, because refer to the paper by during 1936 on Scheidel problem, decision making problem. He came up with halting problem, and there is no algorithm that can determine another algorithm.
thank you very much, Prof. Okay, we have another question from Prof.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Allah bless you always. Prof, in Maqal-based project, of course, the theory behind it was very solid from Imam al-Ghazali, and he has levels for each maqam and criteria, which is very solid. But the input at that time, because that one was almost some time ago, before the new trend of AI. So the data at that time captured by the answer from the user. But nowadays we can collect the data from many resources, from the history of the user, from his favorite site. Last time only the user key in the the survey and questions and so on. But now the data can be captured from many resources. Do you think this can be extended for another research so we can get a lot of data about the user to evaluate the maqam and then recommend some improvement to the better maqam and something like this? Jazakallah.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. Akram, for the question. Yes, okay. So actually, for the assignment that I give to my students, it sounds an assignment very simple, but it actually was a tough one. Was that I asked them to do a meta analysis review. Yeah. So meaning that they need to get the data through an AI tool. Actually, should have been at least 3, okay, but because it's only one semester course, so they just take the data from one AI tool only. So the AI tool is challenged to give the data, okay, and then they are doing the meta analysis, okay, and we found that the well-disciplined data come from the field of medicine and related field, okay, especially from the nursing and also the in database such as the clinical key. Okay, with regards to the markup, yes, okay, we are collecting the data, but of course we need their consent, okay. But we want in terms of opinion, okay, and any experiences and their own background that they are willing to provide related to that experience, okay, because otherwise then we need to do the cross-tabulation, so that would be quite tedious, okay, and we need to really rely whatever is coming out from the statistical software, yeah, applications. So that's why we are designing, and of course we need your help as well, okay, because we need to churn the data, okay, but it must come from something intelligence, okay, because what is important here is the agent conversation. It has to fulfill the types of interview session, okay, friendly, quote unquote, and having them to share their experiences as derived from their background and profile, okay. But of course, we need help, okay, in terms of securing the opinion, okay, because we do not want it to be abused, okay, because right now we have many people preparing speech that they need a quick research data. They couldn't get it from the open data or the open science platform. So another way is to use AI, unaudited one, to steal that data. So that is the challenge right now that we are drafting on paper, okay, to make sure. But of course, other than that kind of data, okay, is a different type of profiling, okay, but it's also talk about, you know, what stage they are, okay. It's not the makam triggers or the makam based system. It's not like the game of snake and ladder. So that means when you throw the dice, you know, and then after that you're bitten by a snake, and then you go down to the lower level. It's not like that, okay. The makam based triggers is that it's more of a reminder, okay. So that's why in the case of the BLG, we use that where we make sure that we are on the Tawhidic paradigm, okay, faith, and then when we have the what's Sulaiman, Prophet Sulaiman said, so that is the highest level in that makam. So we refer to that. So yes, we would like to have data at every level, okay, and we attempted before, as you know, a diary-like, okay. But unfortunately, people, you know, are very scared of diary because the diary always means personal. So we need to come up with a different name. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions. Maybe I can read a question from the YouTube. This one comes from Mr. Effendi Zulkifli, representative from Mawin. So the question, how are the concepts of wisdom and truth within semantic operationalized in a real AI system, including who defines them, how they are trained, and how they are audited? Can you, Prof?
Yeah, it's very clear. It's quite, you know, very short, but yet many variables there. So, okay, for the truth and the wisdom, okay. So first we go back with what we have in agreement, yeah, common agreement with all journal editors, okay, and publishers and all databases. That means it has to be quality work, okay. So, okay, we are focused not on the index only, but also the non-index, okay. So here, okay, if let's say, you know, for example, randomly, okay, referring to the journal articles first, index and non-index is that when we are able, when semantic is able to read the keywords, okay, and then know the content, so it is excellent because the title has already been reviewed by the reviewers, okay. So if the keywords can be read, okay, and then the content is being determined, then we take that as the truth. Okay, that means the keywords really represent the words, okay, because we base on the assumption that the reviewer has done their job. Okay, but of course there are issues, so that's why some papers are retracted by the journal editors. Okay, so the next one, okay, on the wisdom side, okay, so normally, okay, we have that wasmatic to go into the discussions, okay, and the contributions. So number one is maslahah to the public. Okay, which part of that research is the maslahah? So as you know, the journal is always in a structured form. Okay, so now elaborating from that, other than the journal articles, we also go for the websites. Okay, so that means if there is something wrong, okay, with the website, then we definitely have to reject that particular results. Okay, and then sometimes, okay, so it keep on popping up several times, even in Google, right? So therefore, we just take once. Okay, we are not going to promote that particular page, the next page, and so on, just the main page. But our analysis is on the other pages. As for the wisdom, okay, other than the benefit to the society, okay, we also go towards the databases that offer the reviewers' comment. Okay, so you will see, okay, what are the significance, okay, of that particular research within the field, okay, and also to the society. Normally they use the word practical contribution. So if you look at many items in Emerald, they always have that section. Okay, with the website, I've already touched it, and then of course on the YouTube, etc. So we go by the producer or the provider of that particular video, etc. So it belongs to who. Okay. So if let's say it has been shared as a viral, so we don't take it in because we are yet to develop the information dissemination model. Okay. So that's the one that we also have our intellectual property. Okay. For the scholars, okay, for the scholars we have two ways: the wisdom of the scholars, the wisdom of the public. Okay, we have the taxonomy coming from the experts, we have the taxonomy coming from the public. So there are some words from the world of academia that is not favorable to the public. So this is where it will appear in the taxonomy. Okay, so for example, yeah, the kalimah Allah. Okay, so the taxonomy said this, but the taxonomy, it is very sensitive. Okay, so therefore we capture that as well. So this is the wisdom of the scholars and the wisdom of the public. We have a dashboard. Okay, so in that dashboard, anyone, okay, can just submit a link, and then after that it will process via an AI tools, okay, technology, but of course it's not that intelligent as we expected to happen. And then we have it matched with the scholars. So normally the most popular one is something to do with fiqh and also with dua, you know. So this is the one that we are capturing now. And of course, this is a local made, so we have a lot of, we need a lot of improvement to catch up. But when it comes to AI, is everybody's line now. We are all in the same line, and because AI is not that intelligent as it appears. That's my comment.
All right, thank you very much. Hopefully, Mr. Afandi clear with the answer. But if not, maybe Mr. Afandi can always communicate with Prof. Roslina. No problem. All right. Thank you to everyone for the thoughtful questions, and thank you once again to our speaker for the valuable responses. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now proceed to a very special segment, the official launching of Voicemantic. To officiate the launching, may I respectfully invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Professorial, Professor Emeritus T.S. Dr. Tengku Muhammad Tengku Sembo, Professor Dr. Akram, Assistant Professor Dr. Abdul Atif, accompanied by our distinguished speaker, Professor Datin Dr. Roslina Osman, to kindly proceed to the center of this room for the launching ceremony. A special note, Voicemantic is a search engine application that can help users find authenticated Islamic content on the internet. Minhajul Abidin's Makam-based triggers and Malik Benabi's novelty ruler is part of Voicemantic's systemic panel search engine. The Voicemantic search engine won several awards like NTE Gold Medal and InnoPac Special Award. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite our honored guest to officiate the launching of Voicemantic. Welcome to the speaker. Partly right has a high level real-time feedback. Access to secure data is phenomenal. With our intelligent search engine, we don't just match keywords, we understand your intent. Take it further with AI mode. One click activates advanced message mapping and identify relationships, concepts, with reliable service install, and provide responsive products. Think of all those things. One lists for interactive data. And explore complex concept connections through our dynamic cascade. System that learns from you. Every piece of feedback sharpens the engine, managed by a robust admin suite for whole system health and analytics. Voicemantic, the future of intelligent knowledge discovery. Explore now at voicemantic.com. Alhamdulillah, we are officially marked the launching of Voicemantic. Congratulations on this significant launch. May I invite our honored guest to remain at the center of this room to officiate the potong kulit. We will now proceed to the traditional potong kulit kuning ceremony, symbolizing gratitude and celebration for this meaningful achievement. Thank you to our distinguished guests. As a token of sincere appreciation, may I invite Professor Emeritus Dr. T.S. Dr. Tengku Muhammad Tengku Sembo to present the token appreciation to Professor Datin Dr. Roslina. Thank you. You may go back to your seat. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I now invite everyone to rise and kindly sing the ILUMC.
Lead the way, light in the future, share wisdom to the spirit of his son. Revelation and reason shall accept, shall faith, merging faith and knowledge. We, the Khalifa, we will fulfill the Aman. So simple. Together, we make the world, expand the cultural group.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. With that, we have come to the end of the formal program. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished speaker, honored guests, participants, and everyone who has contributed to the success of this event. We would also like to invite all guests to visit the exhibition counter featuring the achievements, contributions, and academic journey of our distinguished speaker, Professor Datin. It is located at outside of this room and also in the general office of KICT. Before we proceed to the refreshments and networking session, we will have a photo session again outside this room. So may I kindly invite all guests to proceed accordingly. Barakallahu fikum. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selesai. Tapi online tak boleh lah koreksi je. Izin tak. Saya dah kena cucuk apa ya? Tak ada sebab di sini clear. Zoom. Tak siapa. Off media ni tu. Sebab aku pilih tak. Tengok. Tengah cakap. Tengok. Sini. Ini dia. Dah boleh off ke? Tergambar. Off. Online off.